collector as a figure has a huge, as I see it, as a huge flame inside that is leading him to collect, it's not only about curiosity, it's almost, I can almost compare it to the passion or to the desire of an artist to create. The accumulation of objects, images, paintings, surfaces, all that is an integral part of my work, and I would say that in that sense, I do have a piece of this flame that is connected to be a collector or to have a collection. Since I was working in this really old building that was abandoned for years, and I used it as my studio and home for 4 years, I used to work a lot with the history of the place itself. I used to dig in the walls. I used to peel out the walls itself and keep like folders of these crumbling layers of old walls. I think that this is the closest thing that I have to a real collection of stuff. A real, I'm really attached to these wall layers here. Why am I really attached to that? I think that the fact that a small piece of substance, of a material, can contain, can hold, can capture so much data, so much information, that is something that I'm really attracted to. Like all this last to the past, last to the history that is being captured inside walls, inside buildings. When I left Israel, I had to leave a lot of things behind. As a natural process, I also adopted this thing of just keeping what I need. We are now dealing with a lot of data, and we are storing on the cloud. Everything became digital. I do collect obsessively, saving, keeping, mining, categorizing a lot of JPEGs, images, from all sorts of sources, and it can be my shootings from my camera, it can be internet, it can be Instagram, it can be everywhere, no hierarchies. This arsenal that I'm speaking about, that I am building for over a decade now, is really meaningful into my work. I do spend a lot of time in front of these folders in my computer, in front of this almost craft of creating new meanings, new context. You have to create a kind of a new order in these materials. And I think that by creating those small bridges, or by those small connections between found elements to your own emotional or intellectual world, this intersection, this meeting, that is the key of your own language. I can think for a moment about this small anecdote that it's quite familiar of Freud. Freud was a collector, yeah? His studio was full of objects, full of artifacts, full of statues, of small sculptures, all kinds of cultures, sources, and he had, as a story, he had this photo, is an image of Gradiva, the Greek goddess, in his studio, the one that walks, yeah. And he had to put this photo or this image in front of his desk in order to, because it carried a meaning that he himself contained and knows about, and it helps him. Let's say that this artifact that he's putting in front of his eyes is helping him to continue his perception, to recreate his way of thinking. The power of an object being held by a collector is a really strong one, as an artist has a very sentimental object in his studio that he almost cannot work with it without.